With the new jump season about to crank up another gear with the Cheltenham November meeting this weekend, I came down to Jackdaws Castle to speak to Betfred ambassador Jonjo O'Neill Jnr about the horses he's most looking forward to riding in the new season ahead. Last year ended with the typical ups and downs of a jumps jockey, with most of the summer off for Jonjo Jr. after accumulation of falls made he needed a bit of treatment on his back. But prior to that, the ups came with 2 winners at the Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah, it was incredible. I didn't have that many rides going into the festival, but what I did have had good chances. Obviously we were gutted to lose Springwell Bay in the first race on that Thursday. So it didn't start the day off great, but I had Jaguar to look forward to and still had a job to do. He won more impressively than I thought he would, to be honest. He made a few mistakes going round there, and it was his biggest test so far. A lot of runners, big handicap, and he was still a novice. But he won well, and I'm looking forward to him again this year. Ponyross was just unbelievable, really, and if I wanted to try and write a crazy script, I definitely wouldn't have even written that. So I was supposed to be at Doncaster on the Friday, and then Willie needed an 11th jockey, and obviously you're not going to say no to Willie any day, but especially at Cheltenham. Obviously he'd never ran over hurdles, so I just wanted to get him round, give him a nice experience, and I think the plan was that he'd be a nice horse with experience for this year, but just surprised me going down the hill that I was still not off the bridle, and although I was at work after the second last, I hadn't really gone for him, and the leaders, obviously it was a good triumph, and it was an old-fashioned triumph, a lot of runners, and there were 3 hot fancies in the race, and they'd never really got further away than 5 or 6 lengths, and I just felt coming up the hill, probably the thing that probably helped me was I had plenty of flat experience and he knew how to race. And once he jumped the last, he really had the bit between his teeth, and it was crazy. I had a lot of different emotions going through that race, and ended up with the best one.
And then you went into Aintree and had a beautiful spin in the Grand National on Iroko.
Yeah, he gave me a great spin. It was just unfortunate the ground tightened up during the week and it wasn't really slow enough for him, but he handled the occasion very well, stayed on really well. He could have just done with the ground slower, but he's still a young horse and he hasn't got many miles on the clock, so I think it was a great run, and I think he'll be back stronger this year.
Horses like him and Jaguar and Johnny Hugh, probably what kept you going, obviously, after that nasty fall in the old Whitbread, and then a bit of recuperation with a back injury.
Yeah, I had a few really bad falls in the winter. Country Park at Ascot and St David at Fosslas, and then Hastings. Got brought down in the Scottish National, and just it was accumulative of some bad falls, and just needed to address the back properly and get back strong, which I'd given it at the time, and it feels very good now. And I've had a couple of falls and it's handled them fine, so just looking forward to getting back into the routine and be back racing.
Ease yourself in a bumper, not for you, straight over fences with your first ride back, and now we're looking forward to the Grand National fences coming up. Potential for Johnny Who obviously one of your flag bearers for the season.
Yeah, he'd done well last year. He was very unlucky not to win at the festival. Just overreached after he jumped the last year, and it might have cost him, but he ran very well. He ran well in the Irish National as well, and yeah, hopefully he might be able to shape up into a national horse, but he won over 2.5 last year, first time out. So I think the Grand Sefton is a good starting point for him, and he goes well fresh too, so be looking forward to him.
And before we talk about all the horses you've got here with your dad and your brother at Jackdaws, a couple of other we've just mentioned. Obviously Jaguar, we might see him at Cheltenham very shortly as well, building up to potentially a tilt in the Rhino maybe in the season, see how that goes?
Yeah, I think he's got to step up again on what he did last year. I think it was a very good performance in the plate, but obviously it's a big step up into open company. So what he goes for first, I'm not sure, but I think that will tell us a lot. But I was very impressed. I've ridden him out quite a bit at Josh and Ollie's the last month or so, and I was quite shocked of how he came back in from Martinstown. He's done really well. He was always a tall, leggy horse. He's measured up 18 hands, so he's a really big horse. But he just hadn't fully developed. But when I saw him this season, I was really impressed with how he looked, and he looks like he's strengthened up, and maybe that's the improvement he needed, just to fill out properly, and it certainly looks to me that he has.
And obviously Iroko, you're seeing him there as well, and as Josh was been saying, maybe same route, and he still qualified for the graduation chase at Haydock, where he may start off like he did last year, maybe similar route, Ascot, Kelso, and then obviously Aintree again.
Yeah, I was surprised he was still qualified, but obviously he didn't actually win last year, so you know, I suppose them graduation chases make perfect sense. And yeah, just get a few more runs under his belt. You know, he is lightly raced, but yeah, hopefully he can run up then and have a good prep. But you know, I'd see no reason why he wouldn't go back for the national. So
a couple of festival winners for yourself last year. Obviously the yard here at Jackdaws so close with Johnny Who. Let's just run through some of the horses you're looking forward to this year then. Start with All the Glory.
All the Glory, she did well last year over hurdles. I thought she was actually going to find life a bit tougher. She was just climbing up in the ratings, but she ran well. We weren't sure if she was going to make a chase or not. She's not a big filly really, but she schooled well, and we were happy with the first run at Chepstow. It was only a 2-runner race, but we're happy with the way she schooled, and she schooled round there fine.
Any harm in asking, of course, famously beat Constitution Hill in a point-to-point.
Yeah, any harm in asking. He's been a little bit disappointing. You know, he's ran some good races, but he's finding life tough. The handicap hasn't given him much chance recently. So, you know, he's ran over fences and he'll be able to plot away, but I think we'll probably have to be going up north with him.
Obviously, Beachcomber had a spin at Ascot the other day.
Beachcomber, things just didn't go right for him on the day, but you know, he obviously had a great season last year, win a good race at Kempton. We'll probably go back to Kempton in a couple of weeks as a nice race there, 0 to 135. He likes that track, he likes good ground, and he likes to go right-handed, so that could suit quite nicely. And you know, he could end up back at the race at Kempton over Christmas.
Good season last year for Bill Joyce over hurdles. How excited are you potentially going over fences this year?
Yeah, really excited with him. You know, to be honest, I didn't really think he would be that as good as he was over hurdles. I thought he'd win a maiden and maybe under a penalty, but he surprised me how much ability he had over hurdles. But we always thought, that cliche, is always a chaser, but we always thought he was going to be a better horse over fences. The way he jumps and everything, he won easily in Carlisle. Then he was impressive at Sandown. I thought probably his career best was probably at Newbury on ground that wasn't slow enough for him in the shallow hurdle, and obviously the new Lion franked that form. So we're very happy with him. Form probably tailed off a little bit. I thought he was going really well at Aintree, and he fell down the back straight. He just took a dive at it, and I thought he'd have had a real good chance that day. I was very happy where I was in the race at that time, and maybe it was one race too far at Punchestown, but we're just going to wait until the ground gets proper soft with him, and you know, he'll start over Christmas time, I think. And yeah, I'm looking forward to him because I always thought he'd improve for a fence.
I've seen Crubilly working here this morning. Obviously, I got run at Cheltenham 2 years ago. Probably didn't quite work out last year. What have you got in store for him this year?
Yeah, he didn't have a great preparation last year. He had a niggle after his first run at Chepstow, and it kept him out until earlier in January. He ran a couple of okay races though. He ran okay over 2 miles at Windsor, but I think we'll step him up in trip. He was third in his point-to-point, looking like he was staying on. We're actually just going to give him a run over hurdles first. He's jumping over fences, has only been okay most of the time, so we're just going to give him a confidence booster and see how he goes over hurdles, because he jumped his hurdles like he wanted a fence, but for some reason he just doesn't jump the fences.
Talk about Dom Virginia.
Dom Virginia surprised us when he won so well at Worcester. I'd say the race probably cut up quite a lot. Thought the handicap was very harsh. You know, he'd been beaten by some of the horses who were in that race earlier in the summer, so he got a big hike. He ran okay at Cheltenham, probably didn't jump as well. And he's probably a 3-miler in time as well. He'd definitely jump a fence. He's only a 5-year-old, so you know, we might just see where he's at with his rating. But I think he's going to find life a bit harder now. But at least he won a good pot in doing so.
Are these regional nationals on the cards for Fortunate Man?
Yeah, I would say so. I think he's rated 125, and that's probably still a fair mark. He was only a 5-year-old last year, and he's still got plenty of time on his side. Likes heavy ground, and yeah, he should be able to make an impact in those races.
You just mentioned him when we talked earlier. One of the fours you had in the Scottish National was on there. Hastings, how's he?
Hastings probably won't be running this side of Christmas anyway. But yeah, he had a bad fall at Thing, and he didn't run as well at Punchestown. So we'll just take our time with him.
And Ironbridge ran a cracker at Carlisle the other day.
Yeah, ran really well. He ran a good race in the race last year, but for some reason there was a couple of niggling issues with him. He ran no races after that. Handicapper hasn't really given him a chance over the last few years, but he then pops in a good race like he did at Carlisle, so he's probably fair off his mark, but he's probably got nothing in hand either. If the ground was a little bit slower at Carlisle, it might have just slowed the others down, but very happy with the run, and even though he keeps running in them big races, he is actually lightly raced. He doesn't have many runs under his belt, so hopefully there's still a bit of leeway with him.
What about Gypcott?
Gypcott is going to go novice chasing. He had a good year last year. He was pretty consistent. He looked good at Newbury. Obviously tried chasing a couple of years ago when he was a 4-year-old, but he's a bit stronger now, and he's a good, strong traveller. There's a couple of nice races, like the Sir Peter O'Sullivan at Newbury during the Hennessy weekend, and also there's a few 2.5 novice handicap chases, but we've been wanting to get him out the last few weeks, just hasn't been soft enough, so hopefully we'll get a run into him next week and then head to Newbury with him.
A new recruit here, the very well related Largy Go.
Largy Go, yeah, he was bought at the Aintree sale this year. He's a nice horse, jumps really well. He'll probably go novice hurdling, and he looks like a proper chaser really. So we won't waste any time in bumpers. We'll probably start him off over 2 miles, but he's won a point, so I'm sure he'll want a bit further.
You're on Lime Rose Civilla at Chepstow when he finished second the other day, and they pulled a long way clear, you and the Skelton winner. Yeah,
pulled a long way clear. Really nice horse, handled the ground fine. He's only 4 and he's a very big horse, a bit of a shell still. So we'll probably take our time with him. We'll just stick to bumpers this year because I think he could be a fair animal in novice hurdles next year, hopefully.
And Mr. Megget, what's on the cards for him this year?
We're thinking about going novice chasing. The ground's not soft enough really for him yet, so we'll just have to wait and see when we get him out. But yeah, he was unlucky last year. He looked very good in Aintree when he won his novice hurdle, and obviously off the jury was second, who was very close in the EBF final, so there was good form in that race, but he couldn't run until we could only get him out in a grade 1 the next start, and he didn't have the cleanest prep through, so I thought he ran very well, and he just probably lacking a bit of match practice on that day. But yeah, as long as the wheels stay on, he's a classy animal.
And the race he won last year, you're going to go with Mossy Fenculio this year?
Yeah, horse bought out of a point privately. He won in February by Cave Tara, who we've had a lot of luck with, and he's a nice horse. Obviously, you take him to an Aintree novice, you're going to get a competitive race, but that's the calibre we hold him in, so hopefully he can do himself justice.
I've read Dirt Rose got a race to 1:42 now over hurdles.
Yeah, had a good season. He won in Aintree in the fog Boxing Day, and then he won a 100 grand race in Sandown later on. Loves the mud, handles those conditions really well. We'll probably have to look at chasing with a rating like that now. I think he'll find life tougher in handicap hurdles, but he's one that wants really slow ground, so he won't be seen until probably about Christmas.
Another one with a good season over hurdles, road less travelled.
Yeah, he was good. He won 3 novice hurdles, ended up winning a grade 2 later on at Haydock in November. The ground at Aintree that day was very, very soft, and he ran no race for whatever reason at Kelso, although everything that we ran that day ran no race, so we're happy to put a line through that. He was always going to go chasing this year, and he could be quite smart over 2 miles.
Rula Bula, winner at Carlisle the other day.
Rula Bula, it was good to get her back on track. She had good form earlier in the season. She was second in a listed race prior in a bumper, and then she was second in a listed race at Newbury. But the wheels just fell off, and and we sorted a couple of things out with her. And I thought off her old form, she was probably quite well handicapped, so it was just nice to get her back on track, and hopefully she can progress again from now.
One of those fours you mentioned at the top was on St Davy. What's on the schedule for him this year?
He's still a novice, so we'll go back novice chasing with him. He gave me a really nice spin on his first time out at Newbury in a Grade 2. That was won by handstands, and Resplendent Grey was right beside him. So actually the form of that race has worked out really well. And you know, there's a chance we could go back for that race as well. He's not far away from running, but he does need soft ground. His form tapered off, but I'd say the heavy fall at Foslas probably knocked the confidence out of him. But he is a chaser, and he should be fine again this year, and hopefully the few runs under his belt last year will do him no harm.
And you've got Saver here as well.
Saver, yeah, jumps really well. Not the biggest horse, but jumps really well. Had a spin around Kempton a couple of weeks ago, and Richie was happy with him, and he'll go to Wincanton for a 30 grand race on Saturday.
Another new recruit just over your right shoulder here, Van der Flyer.
Van der Flyer, nice horse by Milan. Proper staying chaser, I'd say, in the making. Need a bit of cut in the ground, but we'll start him off over 2.5 miles in a maiden hurdle somewhere. Want a nice galloping track, but yeah, we like him. We like him, yeah.
Another winner at Aintree, Wellington Arch.
Wellington Arch did really well last year. He was never out of the first two all year, really. We didn't think he'd get into Aintree really with his handicap rating. We knew he was a bit better than his rating, but I think he was off 1, 2, 3, and he just managed to sneak in. So we really fancied him on the day, and yeah, he got an easy run through. Really, he was able to dictate out in front and get breathers in when he wanted, and he surprised me how much he quick and clear after the second last, and he flew to the last, and he just managed to put the race to bed early enough. But we're very happy with him. Ran really well at Punchestown. He could go chasing. I think he'll improve for a fence, but he's got plenty of time on his side still. So we're probably going to start him off in an intermediate hurdle at Cheltenham next weekend, and we should learn more where we'll go after that with him.
Okay, we're red and blue.
We're red and blue. Ran some good races last year. He won in Carlisle and he beat a horse called Jet to Vegas, who actually ended up winning a Grade 2. I think we're off 118, so I'd say there's probably a bit of mileage, hopefully in his rating. He's only 5-year-old, so he does want a fence, but thought there's a bit of mileage in his rating over hurdles, so we're gonna go hurdling first, and we'll see. But yeah, I think he's a nice horse.
Over the 2 mile handicap hurdles, Willful.
Willful's done well. He did well in the spring. He ran no race that day at Kelso, but as I said before, nothing ran any race. But he was good in the Scottish national meeting, and then he ran very well. Just unlucky to be touched off in Punchestown. Very happy with his comeback run at Chepstow in the Welsh Champion Hurdle. We're using it really as a prep run for the Greatwood. Obviously, Joe Tizard's horse, Alexi, franked the form in Ascot the other day. So we did get put up another pound for that, but yeah, the plan's always been the Greatwood, and I think the stiff finish will suit him well. Good run, 2 miles, really suits him.
Reckless Eric.
Reckless Eric's also going for the Greatwood. He was a model of consistency last year. He won Cheltenham at the November meeting and ran some really good races in defeat. He was unlucky not to win the Imperial Cup as well at Sandown. So he's been very good for us in the last season. He probably could go chasing as well, but he's not an old horse. So we'll see where we're at after the Greatwood as to what we do. But yeah, he always runs his race.
So Pioneer Pete ran at Market Raisin and chased home on Son La Vie. Went off a very short price for a good race at Cheltenham.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd say you probably didn't see the same on Son La Vie at Cheltenham. I'd say he is a very smart horse. And we were very happy with our fella. He was quite keen and gassy first run of the season. But happy with the way he jumped. He should be able to make his mark over hurdles for sure.
And going to Exeter as well is Mount Fuji Park.
Yeah, Mount Fuji Park. We thought he was a nice horse as a novice hurdler. He won 2 novice hurdles, but he's disappointed so far over fences. He did win at Carlisle at the back end, but he had been a little bit disappointing. But if we can kind of rekindle that form he had over novice hurdles, we always thought he'd improve for a fence. But he's in good form at the minute, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
You mentioned about competitive racing at Aintree. The bumpers are always hot, and you've entered Garincha this weekend.
Yeah, horse AJ bought as a 2-year-old in Arcana in France. He's well related, and he's by Dr. Dino. He's a nice horse, we like him. He could have gone for the National Hunt Juvenile races, or we said we'd start him off in a 3-year-old bumper and see which way we go. But yeah, obviously you go to an Aintree bumper, it's going to be competitive. But he's a nice horse, we like him, but it'd be interesting to see how he gets on.
Peso.
Peso, once he stays sound, he's a fair animal. He won well in Newbury in a maiden hurdle at Christmas last year. Probably not the most competitive race, but he was second then with the penalty behind chart topper of Willie Mullins's at Wetherby. That was a good run. We were looking forward to running him in the EBF final. Unfortunately, wasn't sound on the morning of the race, so he hasn't ran since. Probably go chasing with him. We'll probably start him off over 2 miles, but I think he'd probably get further in time. But yeah, as long as the wheels stay on, he's a smart horse.
One of your favourites here, Petit Tonnerre, great win at Punchestown.
Yeah, great win. Richie gave him a fantastic ride. He needs races really to fall his way, go a real good gallop and him kind of slice through the pack, and it worked that way, and it worked at Doncaster as well in the season. So them races will really suit him. He sipped into the first the other day at Ascot, and he got badly hampered by a faller at the third last, which took him out of the race. But those sort of races really suit him, and hopefully he'll be able to, you know, run competitively, or you only might pick up one.
Assertive Walk.
Assertive Walk was third in the bumper at Chepstow. Last year was very green. He actually dropped me going down to the start, but he ran just on pure ability that day. He was very green, and we always felt that he needed a bit of time. He's a big horse, big frame, and just needed a bit of minding. Luckily the owners have done that, and I think it will stand to him in good stead. But we'll probably start him off over 2.5 miles now, over hurdles. But I'd say he could be quite nice in time.
Another new recruit here in the green and gold of J. McManus. Best Trump.
Best Trump, yeah, a horse we loved at the sales. Then Derek O'Connor had him for JP, and he won a point-to-point. So we've always had our eye on him since the sales. We bought the half-brother, Gwenny My Boy, to start with, and he won a few races for us. So we know the family, Black Jack Ketchum and all of that, for John Spirit, that family. By Walk in the Park, really good-looking horse, and he'll probably start off over hurdles, over 2 miles.
Country Park.
Country Park, he was a little bit frustrating last year. He ran some good races. I thought he'd win at Ascot, and he fell at the second last. But he's got ability. He's still a novice. He was disappointing at Market Raisin on his comeback, but something came alight after that, and I think there's a chance we could run him in the same race Reckless Eric won last year at Cheltenham next week.
Kaka's Cousin.
Kaka's Cousin is a horse we bought at the December sale in Cheltenham. We were told about him beforehand. He was by Marla. We'd done well with Bill Joyce and Annie Mack the last couple of years. Just got touched off in a point-to-point. The winner actually won a bumper in Cork thereafter, so the form of the race has stacked up, and the horse that was third behind went on to win his next point-to-point and cost a bit of money after that. So we're happy with him. We never intention to run him in the spring. I think he need a bit of cut in the ground, but nice horse, and start him off over hurdles.
149.
149 is a filly I like. She won a point-to-point in Ireland in November last year. Quite closely related to 3 Card Bragg, who won obviously over 3 miles plus at Cheltenham in October, and is a fair horse. So I think she's probably a stayer. But we're going to start her off over 2. There's a maiden hurdle at Cheltenham next Sunday, and we might start her off there. She'll probably want a trip in time, but yeah, she's a smart mare.
So Mr. and Mrs. Hitchens have sent you Henry. He was useful stay on the flat for Andrew Baldwin.
Yeah, useful stare. Followed him through the summer. So hopefully, we'll go hurdling with him. He jumps well. So yeah, no, it's a nice horse to get.
And in the Rooney colours, you've got Eau Claire.
Oh, Claire, I like her. She didn't run any race on her second outing, but she came back quite sick afterwards, but very happy with the first run. She'll go novice hurdling now, and we're just trying to find the right race with a bit of dig in the ground, but she's not far off away from running.
One for the teenagers, Diamond White.
Diamond White was bought by, we bought her off the same people that sold us Bill Joyce. They highly recommended Diamond White, and we've been happy with what we've seen so far. And whether we start her off in a bumper or go hurdling, not too sure. She's only 4, so we might start her off in a bumper and see where we go. But yeah, we like her.
So Proud.
So Proud was bought off Don Cantillon after winning a bumper in Haydock. I think we'll probably go hurdling with him. He's by Iroko, so I won't mind a bit of dig in the ground. But he was a homebred by Don and won nicely in Haydock. And yeah, we like what we see so far.
Walk of Faith.
Walk of Faith is a horse I was mad about last year. We only ran him once though. He was a little bit disappointing in his bumper in Carlisle, but it was a slowly run event. And he's a big galloper. He's a half brother to Manila Kakuna, and you know, he's going to want a trip in time. So we'll start him off over 2.5 miles over hurdles once we get a proper bit of soft ground. But I've always liked him, and I haven't changed that opinion.
Hawthorne Street.
Hawthorne Street, if he can keep his wheels on, is quite a fair horse, I think. But he hasn't had many chances. He's only ran once for us. He won his point-to-point, but he's only ran once for us. I think he was 3rd in Doncaster. But he's had a clean run through this year. Be going chasing, but he needs to get a handicap mark first, and you know, hopefully he should be able to win a maiden hurdle over a longer trip.
For you, if you give one from here that you think will follow through the season for people out there?
I'd be very happy with Bill Joyce going over fences. I was really excited about him, and horse I rode yesterday in the Chepstow bumper, Leon Rosavola. He won't run that many times this year, but I think he's a horse for the future.
And a successful season for you. You've got a target of winners and obviously another Cheltenham success.
Yeah, you know, the big winners are very important, and they keep your name in the lights. Obviously, I've missed 6 months of the season already, so getting the numbers, it's going to be hard to chase numbers really this year because I've only just started now. But you know, I'd like to really get the quality back up. I was lucky to have some big winners last year, and that's what it's all about. So it looks like we've got some nice horses in the yard, and I'm looking forward to it.
Best of luck.
Thank you.